Hey guys, welcome to this Linux course. So in this session, we'll be learning how to install CentOS 8 on a virtual machine. So first, let us look at the prerequisites to do this, and then let us get started with the installation process. So first, let me open the browser. So the first thing you'll have to download is the ISO file. So if you just type in download CentOS 8 ISO, you will get the centos.org page, or you can just go type in www.centos.org/download and you will get the page. So you have two buttons. Go to CentOS Linux DVD ISO, and then you will get a list of mirrors. So you can click on any link and it will start downloading. So if any link is not working, you can check the other link. So it's a 7 GB file, so download it before. So once this is done, so while it is downloading, you can also download and install Oracle VirtualBox. So Oracle VirtualBox is the tool which you are going to use to virtualize the operating system on top of my Windows operating system. So now, once you open virtualbox.org, you will just have to click on this button and you will be given a list of options. So I'll show that. The options would be Windows, OS X, Linux distributions, and Solaris. If your PC is the Windows operating system, click on Windows hosts and a .exe file will be downloading, which you can use to install it. And then if your PC is a Mac, if you have OS X in it, then use this. And if you have any Linux distributions running on your system, let's say Ubuntu, and you want to install Oracle Box on Ubuntu, then you can click on Linux distributions and you can check out the options you have and choose it. If you have Debian, you can choose it. Fedora, you can choose it. Or CentOS also, you can choose it. So accordingly, you can choose it and download it. So for me, it's Windows, so I've already downloaded it and installed it. So once you click on it, it will start downloading. So once it's downloaded, it's like installing a normal software. Just click on next and finish it. So once it's done, you will get a desktop icon like this, Oracle VM VirtualBox. So once you got that, open it. So let's assume right now you have already downloaded the ISO file, because I already have the ISO file. And yeah, so this is how the VM will look. So you can see already I have a virtual machine running. So let me explain to you from the start how to install it. So the first thing you'll have to do is click on new, because you're creating a new virtual machine. So for the new virtual machine, you'll have to provide new virtual machine configuration. So my operating system is Cent, so I'm going to give CentOS 8, and you can see the change automatically happening here, Linux, Red Hat. If I just type in Windows over here, it will automatically change to Windows. So that you'll have to look into it. And one more thing, sometimes you'll not get the 64-bit icon, you'll only get the 32-bit option. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go to your BIOS settings. In BIOS, you'll have to go to security. Under security, you will have a virtualization option. Then you enable it and then start your PC normally, and then you will get the 64-bit option. So once that's done, next, and I'm going to give 3 GB of memory while it's running, or I'll just give 4 GB of memory. Why to risk it? Because anyway, I'm going to use this virtual machine for the entire course, so I'm going to give 4 GB. So then you'll have to create a virtual hard disk. So once I've clicked on create, you'll have 3 options: VirtualBox disk image, virtual hard disk, virtual machine disk. As we are going to use VirtualBox to run our virtual machine, you can choose VirtualBox disk image and click on next. And then again, 2 options: dynamically allocated and fixed size. Dynamically allocated is when there is only increase in the size, when there is a need for memory, it will allocate it. If there is no need for the memory, that memory will be free. Even the Windows system can use it. My already installed operating system on my PC can use it. If it is fixed size, the size which you have mentioned will be fixed already. That memory will not be free. That memory will be occupied. So that memory can be only used by the CentOS. It cannot be used by the Windows operating system. So it is suggested to use the dynamically allocated option. So go ahead with that. And then choose the size, 8 GB. I won't suggest to go with 8 GB. Go with 40 to 50 GB of space so that your CentOS can run smoothly. Because CentOS installs a lot of applications, it installs a lot of files, so it needs a lot of space itself. So once that is installed, there needs to be a lot of space, extra space, so that you can run your operating system smoothly. So I'm going to choose it and I'm going to create it. So now the launch configuration is done. So the next step is to use the ISO file to launch the virtual machine. So now go to settings, go to storage. You can see the VirtualBox disk image is already mounted. And now you'll have to mount the ISO file here. So to mount the ISO file, click on empty, go to the CD icon, click on choose a disk file, and you get options over here. So I'm going to select an ISO file. I'm going to click on open and click OK. So now I have provided the ISO file and the space. So now the option is to click on start. So once you've done that, you will get a pop-up, you'll get a prompt over here, which will be running the virtual machine in it. And first, you'll have to start it. Once you've started it, so sometimes there will be this mouse issue. So just go ahead and click on install CentOS. I'm not doing anything actually. So I'm just trying to integrate mouse. So now once the installer is starting, the first option you will see is the language choosing option. So once that is given, you'll have to choose the language accordingly and then proceed. So you can see the language option over here. So now you'll have to select it, continue. So this mouse problem will prevail a lot. Okay, now you can see the mouse is inside, so it's fine. So now let's continue. So now first choose the language and then click on continue. I'm fine with English, so I'm just going to click on continue. So as it is a virtual machine, it'll be a little slow. So you can see the click has been initiated, but it will take some time. So right now you can see one thing, that the box is not proper, so it is out of space or something. But once you've installed it, you'll have to install some guest installations. Only if you do that, basically you can do other operations. So until then, you will have to adjust with the small screen. So once you've installed those guest installations, then your monitor will become a bigger one. So it will cover the whole screen. So now you'll have to select the size, the standard disks. So we have created one. So I'm going to just go ahead with that. Just click on done once you know that is the disk you are going to choose. So the thing is selected, done. So now once that is done, you will get the begin installation button. Click on it. Then first give a root password, and if you want, it's suggested to give a strong password, but I'm going to give a simpler one for me to remember it. If it's a simpler password, it will ask for you to click on done twice. So once that is done, then create a user. So I'm going to create a user named as IntelliPack. I'm going to make this user administrator, that is root, and I'm going to give the same password, and I'm going to just click on done. So again, you'll have to, if it is a simple password, you'll have to click on create twice. Once you've clicked on done twice, it will take some time to complete this process. So once this is completed, then we'll have to basically remove the disk and then reboot the system. So we'll have to wait right now. And now you can see it is complete. The configuration installation part is complete. Now your next step is to reboot and just log in into the system. But before doing that, go to hit right control. So basically you can see this mouse inside. If you hit right control button, it'll take your mouse out of the VirtualBox. So once that is done, go to your VirtualBox, go to settings. Now remove this ISO file right clicking on it, or just go over here and remove this from virtual disk. Now click on OK, so it's done. So guys, now go back to your virtual machine and now click on the button reboot. So now once it reboots, if that disk is already attached to this particular virtual machine, then it will again show you the install window, install CentOS 8 Linux. It will show that window, but we don't want that window. So first remove your ISO file and then reboot it. So right now, this particular installation's configurations are stored in the storage which we created, the virtual hard disk. So once you remove the ISO file, it will take the configurations from that storage space and start using that for booting the system. So now it will boot the system, and once it's booted, you will see the username which you can click and log into the system. So now we'll have to wait until it gets booted because it's the first boot. So it will take some time to start off the system. So let's wait for that. Or if you think this will take time, you can do one more thing. You can just click here, power off the machine. So once it's done, you can again start the machine. So it's the same thing, but now you can see it is showing me two options. So it has installed CentOS Linux in my system. So I'm hitting CentOS Linux and I'm opening my system. Now it will be booting. It will be booting my system. So once it's booted, once it's completely all the processes have run, so now you can see the loading screen. So now next, after this loading screen, I will see my username over there. IntelliPad username will be there. Now I can click on that username and enter my password and enter into this particular instance. So now you can see the licensing page. So click on the license, accept the license agreement and click on done. So now the configuration is done. So right now you will see the opening page. So now once the processes are done, you will see the opening page and we can start off with our Linux code because we will have installed the system. After installing it, we'll also have to do a small process, which is basically installing guest additions. I've already installed the guest additions in another virtual machine. I will show you how to do that process. So once that is done, I'll just use that. So now you saw the username. So now I'm entering my password and I'm hitting sign in. So now you can see it as it's loading. So it's a little slow because it's the first time again. It's the first time it's loading. So it'll be a little slow, but once it's done, after that, it'll be quite fast. So So the thing is, right now our screen is very small. So with this screen, it's very hard. It will be very hard to do all operations and to concentrate. So to make the screen larger, we should actually install a guest edition, the VirtualBox guest edition. That guest edition will make our systems. So it will make this particular system bigger. So now you can see I've hit the start button. Now you can see there are some, uh, there is Firefox, there is Files, Software, Help, and Terminal. So I'll just click on Terminal. And if it is like, so if it opens and basically we have successfully installed our PC. So now let us go ahead and just set up the basic settings. So it's English. So next, and it's fine. It's fine. Location is fine. I'm not going to enter any uh, account right now. So now it's fine. So right now you can see terminal. It's opening the help screen. I don't need this. So you can see, yeah, so /home/IntelliPad because IntelliPad is the username. And you can see IntelliPad at localhost. Again, IntelliPad is the username as well as the administrator. So now our first process is done. So now the second process is to install guest editions. So I have a file to install guest editions. So just a second. So you can see VBox Gist Edition over here. So this is the file for that. So first you'll have to install all of the softwares which is required, and then you'll have to cd into run/media, and inside that you will have your username and the files, and then you'll have to run this particular command. So once you run this particular command, then it will install. Then if you reboot the system, you will be able to see the changes. So now let me go here. First thing, open your terminal. And so first you'll have to connect to the internet. So to connect to the internet, go over here, the top right, click on wired off and click on connect. So if you have internet in your system, it may be Wi-Fi or Ethernet, it will automatically connect to it. So you don't have any issues. So now what I'm going to do is update. Sorry, I'm going to become the root user. Now I'm going to update. Oh, sorry, I'll have to enter my password. Yeah, now I'm the root user, so I'm going to update my system. So you can also do DNF update, you can also do yum update. So both will work. So once DNF update is completed, I'll give yum update. Let's see what happens. While this is happening, I'll open another tab and I'll type in yum update. So yum and DNF are package managers. So again, here I'll become the root user. Now again, yum update. So it is waiting for this particular process to finish so that it can start this. So I'm just going to close this. I don't need this to happen because I'm already updating it using DNF. So again, the internet is quite slow. You can see now it's downloading. And once it finishes, then we can install every single, so we can install all of these. Once all of this is installed, then we can go ahead. Now opening it again. So let it install. So it will take some time, obviously. You can see that. So you saw that it got automatically aborted. I did not click yes. So right now I'm going to ignore this because it will take a lot of time. So now I'm just going to install all the softwares which are required for installing my guest edition. So now first, DNF install start. So it's checking whether it's already installed. It is already installed. Next, I'll have to install bzip 2. This is basically to unzip a file. You can also download this software called unzip, and then I'll have to do this kernel devil dollar. So why is this? Because it will take my username and use it as a folder after installing it. So you see it's not finding a match. So I'm just going to give enough kernel devil. Let's see if it installs it. Yes. So it's a 13 MB package. So basically we are installing all the softwares, we are updating all the softwares because we need to install the latest guest edition. So once this is complete, we can do that. Yes, it's 13 MB file and the internet is quite mediocre, so it's taking some time. So you'll have to wait until all of these processes are complete. Once you've installed kernel devil, then install the kernel headers, then install Perl, GCC, make, and ELF utils, label development. So you need all these development headers so that you can install the guest editions. So make sure you install these before running your guest editions. I think kernel devel is installed, downloaded successfully. Now it's running the scripts, so now it's installing. So once the installation is completed, we can install the next software. So now the installation of kernel devel is successful. Next, we'll install the kernel headers. And again, this is a 2.7 MB file. Installed size would be 4.6 MB. So now you can see it's installing. It's quite faster than the last installation because it was a bigger size and there was a lot of things to install. So now kernel headers is completed. Next we'll have to install Perl, because while installing guest editions there will be some Perl scripts running. You don't need to worry about anything else. You just install these because these are required for us while we are adding the guest edition, because without the guest edition it will be a small screen and it will be hard for you to work with. So now even Perl is completed. Next we'll have to install GCC. So you can also install them in a go, but the thing is, all of these are bigger files and you'll have to enter Y every single time while installing them. Sometimes you might fail to do that and that will cause you data inconsistency. So it's better to install them one by one. If you have fast internet, it's going to take you lesser time anyway. So once all of this is done, we'll have to install make as well, then we'll have users. Once this is done, then I'll show you how to install VBox Linux additions. Once that is done, we'll be set to go with our further more processes. We'll be learning basic Linux command. We'll be learning other commands like echo, ls and all. So right now let's finish the installation part. So now even this is complete. Next it's make. So it's already installed. And next ELF utils, library ELF, live ELF and develop. So now if we install this, then we are perfect to go ahead. Okay, now all the softwares are installed, everything we need is installed. So now what we'll have to do is, so I'm going to just exit the root user. So you'll have to go to run/media. So first check whether it is available in your system or not. So it is not. So once you install these softwares, the next process for you is first go out to devices. Here you have insert guest editions CD image. Click on it. You'll get an option over here. So you get this option. Click on run. So enter your root password and authenticate it. So it needs, this particular installer needs all these all these softwares to install this particular guest editions. It needs Perl, GCC, make, kernel headers, all the latest ones, tar to untar it, bzip to unzip it. So it needs all of them. So right now it is installing the guest editions. So let it install. Let's wait. So it's asking please return, enter return to close this window. So I've closed it. So right now I think you will have this particular folders installed. So yeah, it's installed. So right now you can see the username inside that. So if you open this, again you'll get VBox. Now open VBox as well. So inside this you will get all these files, and you'll be able to see a file named as you can see here VBox Linux editions.run. So you will see that file over here, VBox Linux editions.run. So you'll have to run this file. So I'm going to run this like this, VBox Linux editions.run. So it done. So it has to be run with administrative privileges. So I'm just going to add a sudo in front and give my password. So it's uncompressing, so it's installing a new version. It already installed while we run it, but still I'm just making sure that it's installed properly, because while you are running the GUI based one, when you clicked on run, it would have installed it already, but still to make sure I'm installing it again. So basically, after installing using this particular option, device, this one, so you can basically try rebooting your system and check whether your system is having a full screen. But sometimes it might not work, sometimes there might be an error. So make sure that you rerun it yourself. So once you've done it, once it's successfully installed, then you're set to go. Then you can actually restart the system and check. So it is done. So right now, guys, let me clear this and let me reboot the system. So once we reboot it, once it successfully reboots, we'll be able to see the changes made. So yeah, we'll have to wait for it. So now again, it's running. I'm selecting CentOS, closing all the other things. I'm just opening this, just giving it running. So you can see the loading screen. So again, it's a little slow. So as I was telling you, as this is the first time we are installing some more additions. So now going to VirtualBox, here in settings and storage, you'll be seeing a guest additions ISO. So you should not remove this. It should be always with your virtual machine, because only with this guest addition, you can your particular virtual machine will know that it has to be larger. So that is the input which that provides. So do not delete that. So again, it's still loading. So we'll have to wait. So the installation page is opened. So right now, let me open it. One more thing, I've already installed everything over here. It's properly set up. So the same thing I'm doing with this particular virtual machine. So we've done everything. So we've installed the guest additions and we've also installed the software. So let's end this session right here and let's begin with the next.